Listen to this incredible story of a Louisiana man named Glenn Ford who spent 30 years on death row when he was innocent.
After 26 years waiting for his own execution, 64-year-old Glenn Ford walks free. He spent almost half his life on death row.
I was locked up almost 30 years for something I didn't do.
Ford was sentenced in 1984 in connection with the death of a jeweler he used to work for. He was released after Louisiana state prosecutors said they could no longer stand by his conviction. The case again draws attention to inadequacies in the U.S. justice system. Ford was sentenced to death by an all-white jury selected by prosecutors. His lead defense lawyer was a specialist in law regarding oil and gas exploration. A second lawyer had only graduated from law school 2 years before. The state was unable to call any eyewitnesses during the trial, nor could it produce a murder weapon. And under cross-examination, a witness, who was the girlfriend of another man suspected of murder, admitted to a jury that she had lied in court.
I can't go back and do anything that I should have been doing when I was like 35, 38, 40, stuff like that. My sons, when I left, was babies. Now they're grown men with babies.
More than 140 death row convicts have been exonerated in the U.S. since 1973, according to the Death Penalty Information Center. Men like Damon Thibodeau, who was freed after a 7-year investigation into his conviction for rape and murder. He spent 23 hours a day in solitary confinement, waiting to be executed. John Edward Smith was released 19 years after he was wrongfully convicted of a drive-by shooting in California. Around a quarter of death row convicts exonerated over the last 20 years said they had given false confessions due to pressure from police. Many were misidentified by eyewitnesses. Ford's lawyer said it had been a long fight for freedom.
It's a wonderful day, and we've been working on this for decades, literally. So we hope that it'll be the first day for Glenn to start a new life.
Compensation laws for exonerated death row convicts in the U.S. are complex and vary between states. Advocacy groups are pushing for a federal law that would guarantee money to help men like Glenn Ford deal with the life he lost and try to start living again. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Listen to how incredible that is. Let me reiterate some of the more important points. No murder weapon was found. No murder weapon was found. Not only that, there were no eyewitnesses to the crime. No murder weapon, no eyewitnesses, no DNA evidence, no forensic evidence, yet an all-white jury found him guilty, and his sentence was death. It was death. Death. First of all, there's not enough evidence there to convict the guy of, 15 years behind bars. Never mind convict him of death? Convict him of death. Are you insane? Did you not hear what I just said? No weapon was found, no eyewitnesses, no DNA evidence. In fact, one of the only people who testified was supposedly there was a massive conflict of interest because prosecutors said that they would let out her, I forgot whether it was her fiance or her brother or something, from jail if she testified against this guy. There's no case whatsoever. No case whatsoever. But they had no problem. The system had no problem putting the guy to death. I mean, prosecutors should also be ashamed of themselves at this. Because prosecutors, all they care about is their conviction rate. So if all you care about is your conviction rate, if you can make a case against somebody, even if it's a bullshit case, you'll do it. I mean, you have to be a soulless bastard and have no conscience whatsoever. But apparently, some of these lawyers don't have any conscience at all. And by the way, here's the important point about this. When people talk about being against the death penalty, this is why they're against the death penalty. It's not like they have, sympathy for the guy who went in there in Colorado and shot up people watching a movie. Okay? It's not like they have sympathy for the Lanza kid who did the Sandy Hook shooting. Nobody cares about any of these guys, okay? They're sick, they're loathsome, they have serious mental issues, and they're horrible people, okay? Nobody's standing up for them. What we're standing up for is a system that, if you want to kill those people, well, the trade-off is that you're going to kill some innocent people. And there's a definition for killing innocent people. There's a word for it. It's called murder. So if you want to kill the really bad people, you're just admitting hand in hand with that, well, I guess every once in a while we're going to have to murder innocent people also. But then wait a second. If the state is also committing murder, and according to your own logic, the penalty for murder should be death, the death penalty, then shouldn't the death penalty get the death penalty? Because the death penalty was killing innocent people. I mean, look, there's too many people. There's too many. They gave like 3 or 4 examples right there in this little fucking nothing Al Jazeera news story. And they said there was, 130, 140 different ones in the past however many years. People who were found guilty. He's like, whoops, turns out we were wrong. This guy's fucking innocent. That's a problem, man. How many more Glenn Fords are out there right now? How many more Glenn Fords are out there sitting on death row going, I can't fucking believe this. This is like a fucking nightmare. This is like a horror movie. I didn't fucking do anything, and I'm about to be put to death in like 5 years. What's going on here? Are we serious? This is how civilized society acts? Jesus, man. Look, if you look at the list of countries that still do the death penalty, it shakes you to your core. We're on the list with countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia, Botswana, places like that. We're not with Australia and France and Britain and other modern countries. It's terrible, man. It's a shitty situation. And the most he can get this, the law calls for payments of $25,000 for every year of wrongful incarceration up to a maximum of $250,000. So he's capped at $250,000 and then plus another $80,000 for loss of, quote, life opportunities. So this guy's 64 years old. He has no formal training in the real world to go out and just get a job like nothing. He's been on a strict schedule behind bars for almost 30 years. And you dump him out there and he with a check for about $330,000. Don't get me wrong, that's a decent amount of money. But if you lost your fucking life, is that enough? No. If I'm the judge, this guy's getting at least $1 million. At least $1 million. I'm probably giving him a little more than that. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is... How many more Glenn Fords are out there that we don't know about that are just going through the system and they might even be killed and whoops, we killed an innocent guy. That's my tax dollars going for that, and that's your tax dollars going for that. Here's a question for you. Would you rather have your tax dollars go towards that, or would you rather have your tax dollars go towards universal education for people or universal health care for people? I think you know what the answer is.